Thanks for joining us here on Fox 10. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith. Here's what we're seeing with our headlines tonight. A few evening storms. It's already really quiet out there. We'll keep an eye on any isolated showers that fire. Heat and storms in the forecast tomorrow, and a similar pattern continues as we head into the weekend. No big surprise there. We're getting closer to mid-June now, and the heat is with us with regularity. The UV index very high. Rip current risk is low. We'll have some scattered thunder showers around tomorrow. Temperatures at the beach 92 degrees. Rip current risk stays low as we go through the weekend with a water temperature at 82 and a low surf height. Tropics have got great news here. Now, there are some extended runs in the GFS that show a tropical system in the Northwest Caribbean Sea in about 8 to 10 days. But the short term, over the next 7 days, we're not seeing much. And also want to mention that while the GFS is going crazy with different scenarios, the Euro is not showing much. And a lot of that's in the long range. That's common to have some long range models that show some gloom and doom scenarios. Right now, we're not looking at anything developing over the next 7 days, but we'll watch further out in time. Our day planner, temperatures at 90 degrees or so midday, pretty hot out there. And then scattered showers and storms into the afternoon. Our rain chance tomorrow at 40%, a 30% chance Saturday, a 40% chance Sunday, and a 50% chance Monday. So some ups and downs there. Temperatures for highs in the low 90s. Coming up on Next Weather, Nicholas Herboso explains what meteorologists can gather from long-range forecast models, and I'll have another look at your extended forecast. We'll go out 7 and 10 days coming up.
Can I play? Sure, but you need to bring your own truck. That's not a problem.
The Fox 10 Storm Tracker Fleet, taking you live to more places, covering the Gulf Coast like no one else can. Unrivaled experience, unparalleled severe weather coverage.
I think I need a bigger sandbox.
Well, forecast models like the GFS and the European model are often shared on social media during hurricane season, but what's the values of these extended models and how should they be interpreted? Nicholas Herboso explains.
During hurricane season, long-range forecast model projections can often be shared on social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter. These model projections can sometimes be intimidating and even scary to Gulf Coast residents as it shows something dangerous in their area. But these forecast models often are far out and don't come true. Instead, these long-range models do have a use, but it's a different use, it's a different interpretation, and sometimes that interpretation isn't fully explained. Now, in the near term, models like the GFS and European are very accurate and very reliable. Their projections often are so good because the features that they're projecting out are already on the map. Something like an already existing hurricane or an already existing frontal system. Therefore, what you see is what you get, and it is easy to interpret what you see on the model. It's a bit like a recipe, and stay with me here. Think about like you're baking bread. If you have all of your ingredients on the table, pre-mixed, ready to go, you know what's going to come out of the oven. And that's actually what near-term model forecasting is like. We have all the ingredients right in front of us, so we know what's going to come out in the near term out of the oven. But whenever you go longer term, you start to not know if you have all the ingredients because you're further away from when the data was gotten. So you don't know if all the ingredients are there. Therefore, you don't really know how it will turn out. And that's why these forecast models often lose accuracy as they go further out. Look at this, 1 to 3 to 5 days, very good accuracy, in fact, excellent accuracy. But beyond a week, getting into 2 weeks, it does get much less. So the long-range forecast models can just simply be unreliable at times. But they need to be interpreted differently. There is something that we can gather from them, it's just different. What we gather from them is we look for the long-term patterns and trends instead of looking for a specific forecast. Think about it like this. Let's say the model is showing a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico in 14 days. Some people may say there will be a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico in 14 days. That is not how that model should be interpreted. It's too far out to gather that. But if there's model consistency and there's a consistent indication, you may be able to say something along the lines of there may be increased moisture in the Gulf of Mexico and Caribbean and around the 14-day time frame. Something a little bit more general, but it puts something on our radar and we can start monitoring the area. So it should not be a specific forecast. Here are the tips. Beware of the clickbait on social media. Beware of those pretty pictures. And instead, listen to the local meteorologists on what they have to say, because it's our job to filter out that information. And always stay updated with your local meteorologist and always be prepared. Remember, it is our job to filter through the information and provide you what you need to know so you can not be worried and instead be prepared. In the studio, Nicholas Herboso, Fox 10 News.
Thanks, Nicholas. And many of the United States residents remain at risk for inhaling potentially harmful air as wildfire smoke from Canada keeps rolling in. Winds are now pushing the smoke further south into the middle Atlantic states, areas like Northern Virginia, Maryland, D.C., some of the worst of it. Karen Kafa has the latest on where the biggest dangers are and where it's headed next.
I can feel it in my lungs, and when I'm walking around, I can get. It's pretty intense.
The nation's capital now in the thick of the hazardous haze.
I felt like I couldn't really breathe, catch my breath as I usually would be able to.
The Canadian wildfire smoke that's been choking New York this week is slowly pushing across the Northeast. Places like D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia suffering air quality ranging from unhealthy to very unhealthy.
The fine particles can penetrate deeply into fragile lung tissue, causing symptoms including cough, shortness of breath, and wheezing.
New York slightly improving Thursday, downgraded to unhealthy from hazardous on Wednesday. Various airports in the region are experiencing ground stops or delays due to low visibility. The FAA listing the changing conditions for passengers at fly.faa.gov. The South not immune. Cities like Raleigh, North Carolina and Louisville, Kentucky experiencing varying alerts such as moderate or unhealthy for sensitive groups.
Just kind of chill out, take a break, sit on the couch, watch some TV, listen to music, do a podcast, write a book.
Forecasters expect the smoke to roll over the Northeast, New England, and Midwest into the weekend, but say a new storm system from the west next week should bring substantial relief. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
And coming up next, I'll have your long-range forecast. Will go out 7 and 10 days here on Next Weather.
New to the Fox 10 weather app, your 24-hour radar forecast. Be the first to see how precipitation is going to affect your plants across the Gulf Coast. Detailed hour by hour. The 24-hour radar forecast on the Fox 10 weather app. Plus the latest breaking news with the Fox 10 News app.
Got him, both.
Stay alert with Fox 10. Prime time is Fox 10 time.
The latest on the night's top stories are first on Fox 10 News at 9.
Wrap up your day informed and ready for the morning.
Here's what we're seeing over the next 7 days, and our temperatures look like summertime numbers here. I know summer hasn't begun officially, but after we get into early June, it's usually here for our area in the deep south. And 92 on Saturday, 91 Sunday, our weekend temperatures. Lows in the 70s fairly consistently here. Rain chances fairly consistent in the near term. The next 4 days, scattered showers and storms each afternoon. Isolated showers Tuesday and Wednesday. Over the next 10 days, our rain chances stay, well, kind of scattered about. A little bit drier midweek next week, but they come back next week. Long-range models are suggesting that Thursday through Sunday we may have a heat wave building, which won't be a lot of fun. So that's what we're seeing there in our extended outlook. Be prepared for hotter temperatures, maybe even some heat index issues, so drink plenty of fluids and stay cool out there.